Hey fashion friends, welcome back to Wendy's Wardrobe Wisdom. The biggest mistake women make when shopping for white dresses is thinking the color is what matters. It's not. The color is usually the least important part. What actually determines whether a white dress looks chic, expensive, and flattering is something completely different. And once you understand what those things are, shopping for white dresses becomes so much easier. Because every summer, white dresses come back. They're everywhere. They're marketed as timeless, elegant, effortless, and yet so many women try them on and walk away disappointed. The dress looks beautiful on the mannequin. It looked beautiful on the model, but somehow it doesn't create the same effect in real life. Most women assume the dress isn't right for them, but in many cases, it's not about you at all. It's about understanding what makes a dress work. So today, I want to walk you through the details that actually matter. And surprisingly, the color isn't one of them. First, fabric matters more than color. This is probably the most overlooked detail. White is a color that reveals everything. It reveals wrinkles. It reveals clinginess. It reveals poor construction. It reveals fabric that loses shape throughout the day. That's why two white dresses can look completely different even when they're very similar in style. One might look elevated and expensive. The other might look casual, flimsy, or unfinished. And a lot of that comes down to fabric. Generally speaking, fabrics with a little structure tend to create a more polished appearance. Things like cotton poplin, structured linen blends, quality woven fabrics, materials that hold their shape and drape cleanly. That doesn't mean every dress needs to be stiff, but when the fabric collapses completely or clings to every line on the body, the dress often loses that refined feeling people are trying to create. So before you focus on the style of the dress, pay attention to the fabric, because the fabric creates the foundation for everything else. Second, the silhouette is doing most of the work. This is where I think a lot of women get stuck. We focus on finding a white dress, but we don't always focus on finding the right silhouette. And the silhouette is really what determines whether a dress feels flattering. Think about it this way. If I took the exact same dress and made it black, navy, olive green, or white, the silhouette would still be doing the same job. The shape is what creates balance. The shape is what creates proportion. The shape is what creates visual harmony. A dress with thoughtful structure usually looks intentional. That structure might come from a defined waist. It might come from an A-line shape. It might come from a column silhouette that skims the body. There isn't one perfect silhouette. The goal is simply finding a silhouette that works with your proportions instead of fighting them. Because the right silhouette can make an expensive dress look elevated, and the wrong silhouette can make an expensive dress look disappointing. Third, more volume isn't always better. This is a trend I see every summer. A lot of dresses are designed to feel relaxed and easy, and there is nothing wrong with that. But sometimes relaxed turns into overwhelming, especially when a dress has excessive volume through multiple areas at the same time. Large sleeves, multiple tiers, extra wide shapes, lots of fabric. Individually, those details can be beautiful, but when they're all combined together, the dress can start to wear you instead of the other way around. This is especially important for women who are petite, shorter waisted, or who simply feel overwhelmed by oversized clothing. Sometimes removing just a little volume creates a much more balanced look. The dress can still feel comfortable, still feel effortless, still feel summery, but it doesn't swallow the body. And that's a big difference. Fourth, accessories matter more than you think. One of the interesting things about a white dress is that it's basically a blank canvas, which means everything you pair with it becomes more noticeable. Your handbag, your shoes, your jewelry, your sunglasses, the accessories often become part of the focal point. That's why a simple white dress can look completely different depending on how it's styled. A structured leather bag immediately creates more polish. A refined sandal can elevate the entire outfit. A few intentional jewelry pieces can make a simple dress feel finished. The dress doesn't have to do all the work. Sometimes the accessories are what transform it from basic to elevated. And fifth, the best white dress is the one that works with your proportions. And this is where I think the real magic happens, because there is no universally flattering white dress. There just isn't. A dress that looks incredible on one woman may be completely wrong on another, not because one body is better than the other, but because proportions are different. A woman with a longer torso may benefit from a different waist placement. A woman with a fuller bust may prefer more structure through the bodice. A woman with a straighter figure may enjoy silhouettes that create shape. A petite woman may find that excessive volume overwhelms her frame. These aren't rules. They're simply things to consider. Because the goal isn't to find the dress that everyone is wearing. The goal is to find the dress that creates balance on you. And when that happens, everything starts to feel easier. So if you've ever tried on a white dress and wondered why it didn't create that chic, effortless look you were hoping for, remember this. It's probably not the color. It's the fabric, the silhouette, the amount of volume, the styling, and how the dress works with your proportions. Once you start paying attention to those details, you'll stop chasing the idea of the perfect white dress, and you'll start finding dresses that actually work for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to know in the comments, what's the hardest thing for you when shopping for summer dresses? If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe to Wendy's Wardrobe Wisdom, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.